From the opinion pages of the Wall Street Journal, this is Potomac Watch.
Welcome back. Kim, we also had some primaries in various states, but most prominently New Hampshire on Tuesday, and we discussed this on yesterday's podcast. You took us through some of the candidates. So can you give us an update on what has happened?
Well, the big one, obviously, was the Republican primary for the Senate seat there. And that's actually an odd situation at the moment because as we tape this, Don Bolduc, who was running against Chuck Morse, Mr. Morse has conceded, even though the Associated Press hasn't called the race yet, with about 85% of the vote in, Mr. Bolduc seems to have a 1-point edge. This is just notable how close this has become because, as we discussed yesterday, there had been some polling in the states showing him with double-digit leads. But one thing that happened in the end is a lot of money came in to support Morse, who had the endorsement of the governor, Chris Sununu, also a number of members of Congress. Mitch McConnell's group was throwing some money in there to try to make sure he succeeded because the Republican bet was that Mr. Morse would be a better candidate for them to try to take out Maggie Hassan, who is the current Democratic senator. Mr. Bolduc had a lot of controversial statements in the past, in particular his continued claim that Joe Biden didn't really win the presidency. So that would be the main race going on.
And let me pick up on that. I mean, the narrow margin, I think, is important to underline here because in some of these previous elections where Democrats have meddled in the Republican primaries, I'm thinking in particular of Michigan, where Congressman Peter Meyer was defeated. The question after that was, did that Democratic meddling actually make the difference? And here, the margin right now, as I'm looking at it, they're still counting some votes, is about 37% to about 36%. And New Hampshire is a relatively small state, so we're talking about rounding here, 51,000 votes to 50,000 votes, a little shy, 49,677 for Chuck Morse. And when you think about the magnitude of the money that Democrats put into this state, I mean, we're talking about $3 million in one set of ads that were calling Chuck Morse another sleazy politician. Here you have a case, Kim, where I think you can make a really strong argument that without that money from Democrats trying to drag Chuck Morse down, that he would have made it over the line in the end. And so here's a place where, as Democrats are saying that these MAGA Republicans are a threat to Republic, they're meddling in primaries to help MAGA Republicans. And here's a place where it looks like they actually could have made the difference.
Yeah, and successfully doing so, as you say. It's quite something to see. And it's also a little bit interesting to me. Some of the press has picked up on this. You saw Chuck Todd ask Kamala Harris about it this past weekend. She dodged the question. He kept saying, isn't this a problem? Why is your party actually supporting the very people that you claim are a threat to the Republic? And she had a very lame answer, which she repeated several times, which was, well, I'm not going to tell candidates how to run their elections and their campaigns. It's up to them, which is just remarkable, given that the president has been going around on the stump complaining about MAGA Republicans and making this one of the central themes for the Democratic Party in this election. So now if Mr. Bolduc does succeed and is the nominee, the betting is that he's going to have a much harder time knocking off Maggie Hassan. But you know what? Who knows what the mood is out there? Who knows how sour voters may be as we go forward and we keep seeing these inflation numbers, the stock market down, all of the bad news out there. Maybe he'll win after all. And, Democrats will get to welcome him into the Senate knowing that they helped put him there.
Well, let's give Mr. Bolduc his moment in the sun here. Here's a clip of him on election night enthusing about his victory.
We have successfully protected ourselves. We are now going to rally around the circle, unity, freedom, liberty, and together
we're going to beat Maggie Hassan!
Maggie Hassan locked you down.
Yes,
Maggie Hassan closed your businesses.
Yes.
Maggie Hassan closed our schools.
Yes.
I tend to agree with Kim here that this is great news for Senator Hassan. The Cook Political Report, this nonpartisan election handicapping group, currently puts the New Hampshire Senate seat in the lean Democratic category. But as Kim says, in a red year with inflation figures still pretty alarming, who knows how that could turn out. So it will be interesting to see if Bolduc's win here causes any of these groups to move that Senate race into a likely Democratic category. But Kim, I guess my final thought here is on this sense that some people in both parties have that for the other side, worse is better. And you saw this in 2016 when President Trump got the Republican presidential nomination. There were some Democrats who were celebrating and saying, here's a guy who will so obviously be easier for us to beat. And as we all know, it didn't turn out that way. And that's some of what is going on here in these primaries, these Democrats who are cheering for the most extreme Republican to get the nomination. I mean, as you say, anything could happen politically, but also intervening events that can occur. You could have an extreme candidate get a nomination, and then the other nominee has a health issue and is required to withdraw from the race, shaking up what voters intend to do here. And so I think it's pretty dangerous for either side to be playing that game. I think that for the good of the republic and for the good of democracy, if we care about that, we should want the best opposition candidate to win, even if that makes it a little tougher in the general election sometimes.
Oh, right. We should just want the best, most qualified candidates from both sides to win because we want effective and capable leadership. And look, at time memorial, you can go back. There's always been the political calculation from one candidate looking at the other side, trying to game out who would be an easier person to run against. I mean, that's just human nature. What's really changed in this cycle is the willingness of Democrats to actually go out and meddle in campaigns actively with money and ads, trying to change the situation, get in the way of the other side's decisions. It's really corrosive to the election system. It's corrosive to the quality of the candidates we'll get. Now, look, one thing I want to throw out there, though, is some of these candidates who are labeled extreme, they certainly have definitely comments on the election that are incorrect, wrong. A lot of that has to do with the pressure they feel to identify with Donald Trump and his position. I think it still remains to be seen what kind of candidates they might be overall, though, excluding that issue. So I'm not as ready to sort of say that all of these people are crackpots, but just the general trend you see of the Democratic Party engaging in this, because as I mentioned before, once one party does something, it opens the floodgates for the other party to do it too. And what I worry about is that the next election cycle, you'll see Republicans doing this in Democratic races. And it's just a trend we should see end, not escalate.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I can think of some places where there are candidates that mainstream Democrats definitely don't want to get those Democratic nominations. And Kim makes a good point here. It'd be interesting to see if Republicans take this as a precedent to put some money into those races in future campaigns. Thank you, Kim. Thank you all for listening. You can email us at pwpodcast@wsj.com. If you like the show, please hit that subscribe button. Wall Street Journal members can also join Paul Gigot, Kimberly Strassel, and Karl Rove for a live opinion event, Can Republicans Retake Congress, on Monday, October 17th at 7 p.m. That will be in Dallas or streamed online. And for more information, go to wsjplus.com/opinionlive for tickets and more information. And as always, we'll be back here tomorrow with another edition of Potomac Watch.